Hi everyone, I'd like to welcome you guys to another YouTube video. Yeah, it's been a while that I created some content on YouTube. I've actually been busy with some other projects, but I'm glad I'm back. All right. So in today's video, we're gonna be doing something amazing. We're gonna be working on this image, but we're not just gonna be retouching the image. Actually going to be color grading, and then we'll move down to Photoshop to retouch. All right. So yeah, so I'm gonna be doing this quite simply, and I'm going to be using Capture One for my color grading, and then I'm going to move to Photoshop to retouch the image. All right. So as of course you're all aware, there are other raw processing softwares out there, but I chose Capture One for this. You have the Lightroom, you have the Camera Raw filter, and then you have Capture One and some few others that are quite good. They are all good, but I love Capture One. I love the flexibility it gives me to play around with my raw images. All right, so yeah, so let's jump right in and get to work. All right, so one of the first things I'm going to do in this image basically is to work on the white balance. All right, so I want this image to be on the cooler side. I want it to be on a cooler tone. All right, so one of the first things we're going to do to this image is that we're going to work on the white balance. All right, so when shooting this image, I really didn't pay attention to the white balance because of course I knew that I could do that in post-production because I was shooting in raw. All right, so I shot at an ISO of 100, shutter speed of 1/60th of a second, and then my aperture was 4.5. I wouldn't advise you to shoot at this shutter speed. All right, reason being that if you can keep your hands steady enough not to avoid shakes, then you're good to go. But I really wanted to let more light in because for this image I used the speed light, just one light setup. All right, so I used a speed light for this, and the power of that speeder wasn't really much, so I had to open up my I had to take down my shutter speed a little bit. And looking back now, I think I would have done something a little bit different. All right, so but if I zoom into the face, you can see that it's quite sharp. It retained that sharpness, all right, on the face, so I don't have to worry about yeah. So all right, so now the first thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to work on the white balance. All right, so but I'm not going to add effects to the image directly, so I'm going to create layer, and that's one good thing about Capture One. It gives you that flexibility to just in case you want to make some adjustments later, you could always do that. All right, so I'm going to hit on this there's a little bit, there's an arrow, or you could right click, but there's an arrow just beneath this plus sign right here, so you could just click on it, and then it's going to give you these 4 options. So what you do is like create a new field adjustment layer. All right, so I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to name this white balance, YB for short. All right, so like I said, I want the image to be a lot more cooler than it is right now, so I think something around 4200 or 4300 will be fine. Yeah, I think I like the tone right now. Is a lot more cooler. It gives me that feel that I want, that I had in mind in the image. Now, one thing about color grading that you have to know is that color grading is, there's no how would I put it, there's no rule to it. All right, it's just based on what you have in mind already. All right, so once I'm done with the white balance, I don't think I have anything to do with the things. I'm going to leave the things like that. All right, so I'm going to create another layer. All right, now this time around a new field adjustment layer. So I'm going to call this exposure. I'm going to be using shortcuts and HDR. All right, so there you go. So I'm going to be working on my exposure and HDR. All right, like I said, I'm going to drop down the highlights. You can see the effect is not really visible because the image is, I would say, is well lit. All right, so there are no overly bright places in the image. Everything is just in a good spot. All right, so I'm going to drop down the whites a little bit, Now I'm going to my blacks. I think I'm going to drop my blacks down because I want it to be moody. I want it to be, I don't want it to be, I just want it to, I just feel that I want to achieve with this image. All right, so let me know, guys, in the comment section if you want me to leave it with a raw file so you could come up with your own version of color grading. You know, I just like to give yourself room to experiment and explore and, you know, try new stuff. All right, so for the shadows, I'm going to drop just a little bit of shadows. Then I'm going to go to my exposure panel. I'm going to bring up my saturation up a bit. Then my brightness, I'm going to leave it like that. My contrast, I'm going to take it down just a little bit. I think 10 is fine. Yeah. Then exposure, I'm going to bring it up to 1, or just some just to add some punch to it. All right, so I'm done with that. So I'm gonna hit my plus sign again. All right, so but this time, let me delete this. All right, so I'm gonna go to my adjustment. Then all right, so what I'm gonna do right now with this, I'm gonna add, I'm gonna call this clarity and the haze. All right, so I'm gonna add, I'm gonna fill this up with, I'm gonna fill the max. All right, so what I'm gonna do with clarity is, I'm gonna bring up my clarity a little bit more. I think about 6 is fine. Structure, take it down to 4. I don't want to, you know, the haze, I'm going to bring it up 3, 4, thereabouts. It's cool. Now, I'm going to add more. I'm going to right click, new field layer. I'm going to double click and I'm going to name this level, curves. All right. So I'm going to bring up my panel. Sorry for that. I'm going to bring up my panel. Yeah, so like I said, I want it to be moody, so I'm going to be playing around with the blues, with the blue panel a little bit. So I'm going to bring this up the notch and, you know, just add a little bit of point right here. So let's see what that does. No, I don't really like that. So I'm going to go down to blue, you know, just add a little bit of punch right. So let's see. Okay. So you could see that feel, that you know, should I call it cinematic feel to it? You know, yeah, I think I like the effect I'm getting already. So you could just take it up from the middle up. Yeah. Now you see, I have my white balance, I have my exposure and high dynamic range, my clarity and haze. So you can bring up one unless you see the effect. So let's look at the curves. This. Oh, I really like this effect. But you could drop down with the opacity, maybe to around 70% or let's say 65. All right, so let's look at before and after. I really love this. All right, I really love the effect. Now I like working like this. All right, now there's another good feature in Capture One where you could max out some parts in the image using this. Of course, you could select your brush and then you press your M on the keyboard to max out some part that you don't want the effect to be on, like the curves adjustment, the curves layer that we use right here. If you don't want it to have effect on this portion, you could just mask it out. All right, so that's one good thing about Capture One. So I like working this way because if I had put all my effect on the background layer, there's no much flexibility. Let's say, for example, the HDR, I think it's a little bit too much. You could always go back to, you know, change the settings, right? So I'm going to hit M to, you know, remove my marks and all of that. So I'm going to move to, let's see what we can do with the color editor. Yeah, so I'm going to go to basic and, sorry. All right, so I'm going to add a new field layer. So I'm going to call this color editor. All right, so as you all know, the skin tone is majorly on the res and on the orange of your color editor. So let's see. Now the hue is like the color variations, all right? So you can see the changes. The hue is like the color variations, but I don't want to make any drastic changes, all right? So I'm going to just bring it down towards the magenta a little bit, then bring up my saturation. Yeah, then my lightness is, your saturation is how intense the color is, and your lightness is how bright, that color is. Yeah, so I'm just gonna bring down the color to around this. Yeah, then I'm gonna go to my oranges. Of course, you could see the changes. All right, it's affecting both the hair and the skin tone. All right, so I think I wanted to move to orange a little bit. Yeah, then I'm gonna bring up my saturation just a little bit, then my lightness. Let's see, do you want the hair to stand out? I think this is overly not looking good at all, so I'm gonna bring it down. Let's see. Okay, I think I'll just leave it about this spot right here. Now, amazing. Now, let's say for example you don't want the effect to of what you've done right now to be on the hair. You could always go to hit on this brush right here, and then you press M on your keyboard so you can see the marks. Then you start painting out the portion on the hair. So let's press M. Let's see. So this is before, and after. Amazing. So let's see. All right, so just some tiny little bit of change. I'm sure you guys are seeing the changes on it. Now, one thing about color grading is that I like to go slow. All right, yeah, sometimes where you might want to make the drastic changes, that's fine, but just take it up the notch a little bit. Now I'm going to go to my color balance, and for that I'm going to, okay, let's see what we can do on this channel. I have the clothing right here, so let's see. All right, okay, no, okay, I'm gonna leave it right here. So I'm gonna bring up my saturation. Yeah, then I'm gonna bring up my lightness. All right, so I think that's all. Do I want to change the background, how the background is looking? I don't think I would love to do that, but let's see if we can just bring, okay, I don't want some distractions. I really don't want distractions in the background, so I'm gonna leave it like so. Just bring down the brightness a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm fine with the whole outcome. So let's look at the before and then the after. Amazing. I just love that the tone I'm getting out of this. So one other thing you could do is I'm gonna create another layer, new field layer, and this time I'm gonna call it color balance. Color. Now this is one way to work in Capture One. Amazing. All right, amazing. So you could go back to your image, whichever changes that you feel that you want to make, you could always make them. All right, so I'm going to bring down my color balance, and then I'm just going to make some subtle changes. All right, so I'm going to make some subtle changes. All right, just bring up just take it out to this. Yeah, then there you go. Something of this nature we do. Just bring it up to my midtones. Just add some magentas to it. Then my highlights, I think I'm going to go for blue, just a little bit, right? So let's see this before, after. I'm going to drop down the opacity to like 50%. Yeah. All right, so I think I'm done with with the color grading. So I'm going to move down to Photoshop, and let's see Yeah, I'm going to move down to Photoshop and let's see what we can do in Photoshop. I just love the effect I've gotten from Capture One. So let's see before and after. Okay, before we go down to Photoshop, one more thing I would love to add is I would just love to add a vignette, all right, to this image. So I'm going to call this vignette. All right, so let's see. So we'll go back to this guy right here. So pull this up, so bring up my vignette and then just decrease the amount a little bit. Yeah, I really love this. All right, so let's see before. All right, so let's see before. Sorry about that. So let's see before, after. All right, so we're going to move down to Photoshop right now to see what we can do on the face, and I really love what we've gotten so far from Capture One. All right, so leave me guys in the comment. Let me know guys what you think about this, so we can yeah, I really love to hear from you guys. And also let me know guys, I would love to leave this the raw files of this image in the description. I would love to do that, but you have to let me know guys if you really want it. All right, so you could use it to practice. All right, so I'm going to open this. I'm going to go to image, go to edit, then I'm going to open it up in Photoshop. Yeah, so all right, so basically what we've done in Capture One is just to color grade. So we're going to move it down to Photoshop to make some adjustments on the face. Now I'm going to be using frequency separation to edit the face, but I don't really want it. I don't really want it to be overly edited. I just want to maintain, just remove some spots, just to maintain some little bit of some of the skin texture. So let me zoom right in and let's see what I'm talking about. Yeah, so you can see the face right here. So I really want to maintain the facial structure. Not really, there's no makeup on her face. It's just natural looking and all of that. So I'm gonna first thing I'm gonna do is that I'm going to run my frequency separation action, which I'm going to leave in the description below, so do well to check it out. So I'm going to click and run on my action. Now for this image, I'm going to use a radius of, let's say, 5. All right, so I'm going to click on OK. Yeah, so let's see what we can do in terms of removing some of the blemishes. So I'm going to use my spot healing brush to do that. You can press J for shortcut, and let's see what we can do right here. So let's go to the texture layer. Okay, now you can remove the blemishes before running your frequency separation. I just want to maintain some realness to it actually. So yeah, just try. There's a lot on the face, right? But just try as much as possible to remove the ones that you can. Then when we are retouching, we can always go back to it. Now, like I said, I just want to do some subtle changes. I don't want it to be too much. Okay, yeah, so there you go, just some slight changes here and there. So let's look at the before. Let's look at the before and after. Yeah, there's a whole lot on the face, quite all right, but let me see if I can do something with my close stamp too. Let's see. Okay, but okay, what I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to go over to my mixer brush, but before then let me add some brightness to this image. Just a little bit of brightness to the image, which I'm going to tone down later on. I just want to see some of the bright spots and get it out. So I'm going to use my brush. I'm going to use a weight of 10, a load of 75, and a mix of 90, then a flow of 100. So I'm going to increase my brush and then I'll start mixing. All right, so there you go. Now I'm going to create a check layer right here. So I don't want to mess things up in going from highlights to shadows and midtones and all of that. So I'm going to bring up my gradient map. I'm going to create an inverse check layer so you can know your highlights and all of that. Then I'm going to create a levels, bring up my shadows just a little bit. Yeah, then I'm going to create brightness and contrast, increase my contrast to something about 40 thereabout, then drop my brightness. Yeah, so you could see the variations very well. So I'm going to group all of this. All right, so this will act as my check layer actually. So let's start mixing. All right, now this way you know where exactly you want to mix. All right, you know exactly what you need to do. You could drop your so I'm going to show you the before and after in a minute, and you can see the amazing changes that we've made so far. Just make sure that you don't make that drastic changes. So let's see. Let's turn on. All right, so this the before and this is the after. Before, after, quite amazing. So you can still turn it on. Now, like I said before, the changes I want to make here, I want it to be subtle. All right, I don't want this is not a beauty retouch. This is not I just want it to be subtle, just to take tone down on the pimples on the face and all of that. So just a little bit right here. All right, so let's see. This is the before, after. Quite amazing. All right, so like I said, I don't want anything drastic. I'm just going to maintain now. You could use this check layer for yourself. I just showed you how to create it. If you want me to leave it in the description below, you let me know. I'm going to leave it there. And then the raw files for you to work with, if you need it, just let me know. I'm going to look for a way to send it to you, or I leave it in the description below. But I'm careful not to. But I'll just let me know if you guys need it. I will be glad to leave it in the description below. I just want to hear from you guys. All right. Yeah. All right, so let's see. This video is kind of like long. Okay, now you take your time to clear out some of the unwanted blemishes. Now, as you can see, I intentionally didn't take out all of the blemishes on the face, so just for it to look natural. All right, so I toned down on my flow a little bit. So you could use your so let's see. So this is the before. This is the before. This is the after. Before, after. Yeah, way better and cleaner. Now there's a whole lot of spots right here which you can use. Let's see. Just to remove. You just have to take your time to remove the spots. But personally for me, I think I'm gonna leave some. Yeah, so this one right here, I'm gonna see if I can take it out, take this out, just take this out. All right, so let's see. I'm going to use my close stamp right now. I'm going to hit Alt, and let's feel some part that I think there's some feeling. I think okay, yeah. So boom, I have that. So your close stamp is one way to, yeah. So this way you're just working with the textures and filling out some, removing some slight, yeah. So let's look at the before. Let's look at the before. This is before and this is after. Yeah, so you've succeeded in removing some blemishes. So around the neck also you could take out some parts. So there's really a slight line right here. So use a brush, or you could use dodge and burn. I'm gonna do a video on that later on to even things out right there. So just zoom out a little bit and let's see. All right, so let's look at before. It's a lot more better now, way better now. So this is before, after. All right, before and after. All right, so you can use the same technique on the skin, on the neck, and on the chest. All right, so I'm going to stop here because I don't really want to make this video long, but it's actually the same technique. Just get your mixer brush on your check layer. If you want to go back to how I created the check layer, you could always do that. It's quite easy. Then you can work on the skin, on the neck area. Make sure you maintain the variations, the highlights, the shadows, and all of that. All right, so thank you so much guys for watching this video. Really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you do so. Hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much guys. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.